What if I told you the world nearly ended not once, not twice, but at least 13 times, and you were never told that your morning news, your favorite music, your school books were all part of a global manipulation, that spies walked among ordinary people, and some leaders weren't making decisions, they were following hidden orders. Welcome to a war you were never meant to understand, a war where bombs were never dropped, but the world trembled every single day, a war that still haunts your present and shapes your future. This is the Cold War exposed. They never taught us this in school. They said it was just politics, a standoff, but it was so much more. For 45 years, the world stood on the edge of total destruction, not because of war itself, but because of what could happen at any second. It was a war of spies, of secrets, of silence, and behind that silence lay some of the darkest truths in human history. Let's uncover the parts they never told you. Part 1. The war that wasn't a war. There were no tanks storming beaches, no mass invasions, no formal declarations, but it was a war. A war between two ideologies, the capitalist West, led by the United States, and the communist East, ruled by the Soviet Union. This wasn't about land. It was about control of minds, of governments, of the world's future. Propaganda, espionage, psychological warfare, all became weapons in a silent battlefield that spanned the globe. This war wasn't fought with guns, it was fought with fear. Part 2. Masters of Deception, the Spy Games. This is where the Cold War turns into a movie, except every bit of it was real. CIA, KGB, MI6, Mossad, secret agents operating in embassies, universities, hospitals, anywhere trust existed, betrayal could follow. Some names became legend. Aldrich Ames, a CIA traitor who sold secrets to the Soviets for nearly a decade. Oleg Gordievsky, a KGB general who secretly worked for British intelligence. Kim Philby, a man who rose through British intelligence, all while secretly serving the USSR. These weren't movie characters. They were real. And the consequences of their actions shaped nations. One file handed over, and lives were lost. Part 3. Living under the mushroom cloud. The nuclear bomb was no longer a weapon of victory. It became a symbol of fear. From the 1950s to the 1980s, children were taught to hide under desks. Civilians built underground bunkers. Leaders carried nuclear footballs, briefcases with launch codes that could end life on Earth. The doctrine was simple. Mutually assured destruction. If one side launched nukes, the other would respond, and everyone dies. In 1983, a Soviet early warning system showed 5 incoming American missiles. Stanislav Petrov, the officer on duty, made a choice. He ignored it. Had he followed orders, you wouldn't be here right now. That's how close we came. Part 4. Mind games and secret experiments. It wasn't just war on the outside, it was war on the mind. In the US, the CIA ran Project MKUltra, illegal brainwashing experiments, drug testing, and psychological manipulation. Victims were ordinary people. Students, soldiers, mental patients used without consent. In the USSR, dissidents weren't executed. They were declared insane and locked away in psychiatric torture centers. Governments on both sides believed controlling the mind was the final frontier. What they did in secret would later shock the world. And yet, some files remain classified even today. What's still hidden? Part 5. Lies in the name of freedom. Both sides claimed to fight for freedom, but the truth was twisted beyond recognition. In the name of democracy, the US backed brutal regimes, overthrew elected governments, Iran, Chile, Guatemala, Congo. In the name of communism, the Soviet Union crushed uprisings, silenced voices, erased entire cultures, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Afghanistan. And yet ordinary people in both nations were lied to. They believed they were the good guys, but the truth was far more complicated. This wasn't good versus evil. It was power versus power. Part 6. When cold turned hot, while the superpowers avoided direct war, the rest of the world burned. Vietnam, Korea, Angola, Afghanistan, Nicaragua. Each a Cold War battleground where real people bled for someone else's ideology. Millions died. Entire generations were lost. And in every conflict, the shadow of nuclear escalation loomed. For those countries, the Cold War was anything but cold. Part 7. The collapse, or a transformation. In 1989, the Berlin Wall crumbled. By 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved. People cheered. History books declared the Cold War over. But was it? Today, surveillance is everywhere. Media manipulation is digital. Propaganda lives on social media. Cyberwar has replaced boots on the ground. The Cold War didn't die, it mutated into a smarter, quieter, and far more invisible war. Part 8. The secrets still locked away. Thousands of Cold War files remain sealed, buried deep inside vaults or conveniently lost. We still don't know the full truth behind some nuclear close calls, some assassinations, some mind control projects, even some UFO sightings that conveniently appeared near military bases. Was it fear, or something much stranger? Maybe the Cold War wasn't just about East versus West. Maybe it was a cover for something bigger. What they never taught you? They told you the Cold War was over, but they didn't tell you what it became. A global machine of control, of information warfare, of hidden agendas still active, still expanding. If you think the Cold War was just history, think again. Its ghost is still here, in your phone, your news, your mind. Because in the end, the Cold War didn't end. It went underground.